All right, I'm at the testing center. I am in the car, and I'm pretty nervous. I feel like I'm ready, but you know, there's always that small part of you that thinks, so what if they give me something I didn't study for, or what if I'm gonna freeze up, and I'm just, whew, you gotta get past those things, and no matter how prepared you feel, you're going to feel these butterflies, these like this angsty stressness that you'll feel before you go into a test. 10:48 now. My test is at 11, so I'm going to go through one more lab just to familiarize myself with troubleshooting and labbing, get myself in the right mindset before I jump in. Yeah, this is it. Hopefully I pass. I'm about to go in. All right. I failed. Dude, that was a bear of a test. Like, it was tough, and golly, it sucks. Yeah, I know. You're probably thinking, well, Chuck, you said you passed. Well, I failed first. And it sucked, dude. It sucked. It's not the first time I failed an exam, but it never feels good, right? Like, you felt like you prepared, you felt strong, you studied, and then you just fall short. But I did pass. I did pass my second attempt. But before I touch on that, I want to talk about, well, why did I fail? Did I not prepare enough? Am I not smart enough? What was the reason I failed my TSHOOT exam, my CCNP TSHOOT exam? But let me tell you something, I guess, very specific and pertinent to my situation. So I have not studied routing and switching for a very long time, which is kind of bad when you're taking a routing and switching test. Yeah, I get that. In fact, I haven't really studied, dedicated study time for routing and switching since 2016 when I passed my route exam. That was the last time I did. So when I made the challenge for myself back in December, hey, I'm going to get my CCNP, I'm going to pass my TSHOOT, I had not worked with the technology in a while. In fact, professionally, I hadn't worked with routing and switching for a year. I've only dealt with it in my lab periodically just to do some cool things, but nothing like seriously studying. So I had that, which, you know, if you study for CCNA or CCNP, there's a lot of stuff in there. All the protocols and all the OSPF LSA types and the BGP peerings. There's a lot of stuff to remember and keep in your head, and it definitely had, most of it, had left my brain since 2016. Let me add something onto that. I actually didn't study that much either, so I made my challenge in December, which gave me about a month and a half to study, but I did it. So I was really busy with the Christmas stuff, the giveaway, and I didn't study that whole month. In fact, I did not study until like 4 days before the exam. I know, really bad on me. But I had projects I had to complete, so I actually took time off of work to study for this, and I think during those 4 days, I spent the entire day just studying. So honestly, to refamiliarize myself with all the routing concepts and all the switching concepts, and then apply that into a troubleshooting methodology, that wasn't very much time. 4 days? Yeah, duh. And it was just me. So when you look at my score, I think I had to look it up, I forgot what it was. The passing score was 846, and my score was 834. I missed it by 12 points, which can boil down to just like one question or one little thing you did wrong in the simulation. Now, given my situation, that score, I was actually I was bummed I failed, but I was also kind of stoked that I made that score because I didn't have a lot of time to study and I hadn't studied really seriously in almost 3 years. So I say that not to brag on myself and say, oh, I'm amazing. No. It was the tools I used. And oh my gosh, fan-frickin-tastic. They were amazing. I couldn't believe how amazing they were. And I owe my success, well, the initial failure and then the success, to two things. First was Boson Netsim, a network simulation software. That, oh my gosh, was incredible. And the second one was CBT Nuggets, Keith Barker's course. It was TSHOOT hands-on labs, and oh my goodness, amazing! So let me show you those two things real quick. They were instrumental in my initial failure than success on the exam. But it took me from not having studied for 2.5 to 3 years on a subject to being ready for the test and almost passing, which I think is amazing. And then I passed the following week anyway, so. Time to get into my CBT Nuggets mode. Here we go. All right, let me show you some Boson Netsim. Okay, so first I'm going to launch this bad boy. This is a network simulation. We talked about Boson a little bit already. It's more similar to Packet Tracer than GNS3 because it's a simulation of Cisco IOS versus an emulation, but it's a little more, it's better than Packet Tracer. So anyways, here we are at the page. Now on the left side here, we have pre-built labs for us. Now for me, when I was getting ready for my T-shoot, I went straight down here. Now my first methodology is when I first started studying earlier, I was going to go through all the route labs and all the switch labs because, okay, I'm going for the T-shoot exam, very lab heavy. I don't have a lot of time to read, study, or watch videos, so I'm just going to go through here and go through all the labs I could. Well, I didn't have a lot of time. So by the time I got to studying the 4 days before the exam, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to go straight to the T-shoot stuff. And I'm thankful I did. So check this out. If I scroll all the way down here to the T-shoot stuff, you can see I barely did the actual T-shoot labs per se. I went straight to the troubleshooting tickets because that's more akin to what you'll see on the exam. Let me show you, I'll pick number 7 here. This was like one of my favorites. So what you do is you just double click and it loads this bad boy up for you. It gets all your devices ready. So 14 devices of awesomeness to play with. Okay, the lab loads up. Now we got a few things going on here. So first we have the troubleshooting ticket and it gives you the topology and all the information. So that's pretty cool. And then you have the lab topology where it's like Packet Tracer and GNS3. You can just kind of click the devices and jump into them. I'll jump into PC1 and boom, it's a Windows-like PC. Now what's really cool about this is you can float all these tabs. So I can just go boop and float this bad boy so I can expand it. I can even use a second monitor, which I'm not going to show you here because you can only see one screen at a time. So what I normally do is I go in here and I float the things I want to refer back to pretty often. And then I'll scoot this guy way up so I got a nice full screen. Now this is very similar to the exam. I'm not going to give anything away, obviously, but this topology, it's pretty darn close to the exam topology. It gives you all the information about the VLANs, the IP addresses, and such. But if I scroll down here, it gives you your problem you have to solve, which is, it's so fun to do this. So here we go. This verbiage right here, after new security features on the company network are partially implemented, users in both virtual, blah, 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 blah. That wording was right from the exam. So right when you do this and you go to the exam, you feel right at home, kind of. But if you keep going, it tells you users in VLAN 100 and users in VLAN 110 cannot communicate with 203.0.113.13, a web server for boson.com, by name or by IP address. So you know it's going to be an IP issue, right? Maybe not DNS. It could be as well, but definitely IP. And then it says troubleshoot and repair the problem. You should implement the most secure solution. Now, I do want to say this. The difference between this simulation software and the exam is that in the simulation software, I get to go into configuration mode and repair the problem and see it work, which is so fun. On the exam, you don't. You enter show commands and you determine what the problem is, and then you answer the questions hoping that that is the answer. So let's solve the problem right here, right now. Now, keep in mind, I have done this before, so I'm going to blaze through it real quick, and don't think I'm like some network savant. I'm not. Anyways, so we can go to the lab topology, and I already opened up PC1, so we'll get to him. And what the ticket said is that users in VLAN 100 and 110 cannot reach this Boson web server over here, which if we look back at our topology here, scroll up, so we got 100 and 110. And they can't go all the way up here through all this intense routing and stuff to the Boson server. And now we're going to use our troubleshooting skills. So let's go to our command line. And what's the natural thing you're going to do? Well, first, let's make sure we have an IP address. Now, we can already see that we do have an IP address. We got it from DHCP, so I have to do IP config. Yeah, I've got my IP address. I've got my default gateway. Let's just, for good measure, see if we can ping our default gateway, which is what I did every single moment when I entered a new ticket on the exam. Yes, so we know we can at least reach our gateway, but can we reach that host? So it was 203.0.113.13. I'm going to wager no, since that's the problem, right? But you always want to just do that. So, not reachable, like we expected. Now let's do a trace route. Or no, in Windows it's going to be tracert. And we'll see where in the path this is actually failing. And we're not getting anywhere. So let's go look at our next hop device. So ASW1 is the switch, and then DSW1 and DSW2 are our two routers. If you look back at the topology here, we can see that they are connected via VRRP, similar in nature to HSRP, and we know that one of these bad boys will be the default gateway that's responding to these requests. So let's go see. Let's jump into DSW1, get into enable mode. Password was Boson, I think. Yep, okay. I want to make sure VRRP is working fine, so I'll just do a show VRRP. It's probably not the problem, but I'm just going to check anyway. But yeah, for VLAN 100, this guy's the master, meaning he's the one responding to requests, and everything is kosher. I could ping him. Now, can he ping that server? Let's see. So ping 203.0.113.13. No.
Now I'm saying that with a bit of, acting and flair, because I already know we can't. Like, no, we can't. But let's find out why. I can't, for some reason, do trace route on this particular router, but if I do show IP route, let me see if he has a route to that subnet, or that address. Now see, I don't even have a default route. What's happening? So let's look back at our topology here. So the next hop in the path here is router C, and he has an EIGRP relationship with router C. It's possible that router C is not giving him a default route. Let's go check. Jump into Mr. Router C here. Boson gave me a login for this. Let me go check what it was. Admin and this password here. And before I check all the EIGRP stuff, I want to see if he can actually reach the server. So I think I do have a trace route here, and I'll do 203.0.113. Nothing. Not even router C can reach this. We do a show IP route, and look, he doesn't have a route. He doesn't have a default route either. Okay, so we went from DSW1 to router C. Nothing's happening. Well, let's look at the topology real quick. We know that router C has an OSPF relationship with router B. Why is router B being a jerk? Let's go see. Let's jump into router B. Can router B reach that server? No. So it's not router B's fault. Sorry, router B, I got mad at you. Let's do a show IP route. Again, he's got nothing. Let's keep going down our path here. Let's see if router A is the jerk. I think he might be, actually. Let's jump into router A. Let's ping 203.0.113.13. Oh, he must be the jerk. So let's see what his route is. Show IP route. Yeah, he's got he's got a route out, but for some reason that route is not getting to router B. Now they have an OSPF relationship, or at least they should. I'm going to check router A and see if he has any OSPF neighbors. Show IP OSPF neighbors. Ooh. So let me clean this up a bit and see what's going on. So let's do a show IP protocols to see what's running on here. Well, according to that, he is running OSPF, but why isn't that neighborship forming? Let me check out his show run. Now I could just do a pipe and show run the section of OSPF, but the exam doesn't allow that, so I'm trying to be as true to the exam as I can. Let's go up here and look at his OSPF configuration. Looks okay. Let's look at the interface that he's on. So he's connected via serial 01.122. Let's go look at that configuration. Let's scroll up here. Okay, so we've got OSPF authentication set up here. So if this is not matching on router B, well then their OSPF relationship is not going to come up. Let's go check it out. Do show run. Get down to his interface, see connection to router A, and do we notice a difference? Seems like the authentication key was correct, message digest key. Let's go compare real quick. And I think I found our problem if you compare. Anybody know what it is? The keys are correct. However, on router A, do you see what we have here? We have IP OSPF authentication message digest, which actually enables OSPF authentication. This stuff is useless without this command. So I gather that if we jump into the interface and add that command, it might fix our issue. The beauty of Boson is that we can actually test it and make the change. Let's get in that configuration mode. Interface serial 00.221, I believe. Yes, okay. And I just copy that command. Let me paste it in there. And let's see if that works. Oh, and would you look at that? The neighborship is up. So now let's do a show IP route. I mean, there could be other problems with this, but I'm assuming that was probably the issue. Well, we have an external route now, don't we? Let me see if I can ping from router B real quick. If I can type the IP address right. Let me try that again with the right IP address. It worked. So now, let's go verify on PC1. Let me do a ping. Oh my goodness, it's working! Okay, so that's really cool that you can actually go in there and fix it. And we found the issue. PC1 and VLAN 100 can now ping the Boson web server. That was so fun to do. Now, one more thing Boson does that I love, and it does this for all the labs, is it will grade you. Because you could partially do the lab. You may get it working, but you may have missed a few things, or you didn't do the most secure command. So let's grade my lab. So if I go up here, there's a little box that says grade lab. Let me click grade. And I completed it successfully. But now, see, if I hadn't done that, it would go through and give me a little error message on one of these checkboxed devices, and I would go through here and it would show me where my config was jacked up with missing commands or an extra command you didn't need.
So Boson pretty much saved me, and going through all those labs, I mean, I went through them a couple times actually. I went through all the troubleshooting ones, and it was awesome. It really gave me a lot. Now, I wanted to be extra prepared for the troubleshooting, actually getting my hands dirty, and Keith had told me that he made a course on CBT Nuggets, CCNP TSHOOT hands-on labs. Now, what he did is cool, and he used GNS3. So let me show you real quick what he did.
So here I am in CBT Nuggets at Keith's course, the CCNP TSHOOT hands-on lab. So what he did is he did a similar thing to Boson. He went through and created a bunch of tickets, and then he have a video explaining the solution. So how do we complete these solutions? Well, under these supplemental files, you can actually download a virtual machine that has GNS3 pre-built and has the topology. Like, so this topology you see right here in the window, let me maximize that. This topology you see here, which, by the way, is extremely similar to the topology on the exam. He has this topology built in GNS3. The only thing it doesn't come with is the router images, which you can go find, obviously.
And going through Keith's course was also just absolutely incredible for me. I mean, it was awesome. So with Boson and Keith's course, I think I did pretty okay for not having studied a lot. I think what really hurt me, they had some just multiple choice questions that were tricky questions that if I had studied more like theory and studied books, I would have done well with. But I think I aced all of the scenarios, the tickets where you have to go and figure out the problems. I think I aced all those. It was just those multiple choice questions. So tricky. But the second attempt, I went in knowing what to do, but I did do something different, and I so wish I would have used the software before. But Boson gave me another gift. They gave me their exam sim software. So Netsim is their labbing software. You can go in there and lab, but they have exam sim, which is practice questions. But for the TSHOOT, they kind of reproduce the exact feeling of the lab, which I have to admit, when I got into the lab situation, so I'm taking my TSHOOT exam at the labbing center. I'm not gonna give anything away. So Cisco, if you're watching this, calm down. But you're sitting there, you're on this crappy computer with this crappy keyboard on this really small it's not a CRT monitor, but it felt like it, and you're uncomfortable. You don't have water or coffee. Coffee is essential for networking, so why don't they include that? and the command line interfaces and the way you go around the topologies is just, it's not fun or friendly, and it's like you're using a Windows 95 computer. It's, oh my gosh, it just doesn't feel good. It's not like being fast and with your own secure CRT or PuTTY and jumping between devices. No, and then you're also limited. You don't have all your commands. But exam sim, I didn't do this the first time. And I think if I would have done that, I would have gone in more prepared and more enlightened. And that was the difference for me. But let me show you exam sim real quick.
All right, I'm going to spin up Boson exam environment, the exam sim. You can have a lot of exams in here. For me, I had the TSHOOT exam. Thanks again, Boson. You guys are amazing. So let me load that exam here. You can do it in two modes, a lot like other practice exams, study mode or simulation mode, where you can really experience the test. So let's pick simulation, and I'll pick just one of the exams here. And we'll begin. And this kind of gives me flashbacks because it's really similar to the exam. So I'll launch the simulator. And yeah, this is identical to how it feels and looks. I mean, obviously they're not copying stuff and there's no copyright infringement. However, this is how it looks and feels. You open up your topologies, open up layer 3, open up your devices. It looks just like this. You cannot jump into configuration terminal. It just says the configuration terminal is not implemented, which I hate that so much. But oh my gosh. And then you got the ticket. So if we jump into the ticket, it'll tell you, hey, PC1 can't connect to an external. That was pretty much the bulk of the tickets, is not reaching that server. There were some other ones, but there were different scenarios that affected it. So for the exam, you just select the device that could be the source of the problem. Then you select the area of the issue. So it could be layer 3 security, redistribution, EIGRP, whatever. So you pick that, and then you select how to fix it, and then you click done, and it does it just like this. This is so cool. It turns the ticket red on the exam in TSHOOT, and then and you can't go back to it. That's what's scary, is when you click done, you're actually done, and then all you can do is just click close and go to the next question. So that's eerie.
So that is just like the exam. I mean, it's crazy. So I wish I would have used the exam sim before I went for my first attempt, but I used it before my second attempt, and that made all the stinking difference. And then I passed my TSHOOT. Whew, what a freaking load off. So again, I owe my success to Boson Netsim. Thank you so much for giving me your software. And by the way, this video is sponsored by them. So if you need some simulation software that is killer, that offers so much more than just a labbing software. They grade you. And I forgot to show you that when you go, and I'll show it right now as I'm talking about it, but as you scroll down, they give you the solutions, they give you the walkthroughs, the explanations why, the commands you could have used, and how you could troubleshoot that. It's awesome. So they have everything from CCNP to CCENT on that. It's so cool. And then also Keith Barker, man, you did such a great job on that hands-on lab course at CBT Nuggets. So that really saved my butt too. I mean, oh my gosh, thank you. So if you have a CBT Nuggets subscription, or if you don't already have one, check them out below too, because I work for them. So if you want to see more of me and my courses, check that out. And that's about it. My TSHOOT exam is passed. Thank you to everyone who supported me. Like when I posted about me failing, like it sucked, man. Like I hated that. And you guys were really supportive. And then when I passed, you celebrated with me. So this community is so cool. It's awesome. And that's about all I have. I do have some news. I mean, you guys probably already saw on my socials, but we won the Cisco IT Blog Awards. Network Chuck won the best video or podcast, which is so cool. We won. So thank you to all who voted for me. And what that means is that I get a free pass to Cisco Live. So this year, Cisco Live US, I am definitely going to be there in San Diego. So please, if you have a chance, convince your boss to go. Tell him Network Chuck said so. It's going to be amazing. And we'll get to hang out there. Oh, I'm so excited. And also, I'm switching gears a bit at CBT. I'm working on a Microsoft Azure course, which is really fun. It's the beginning course, the AZ900. Cloud is amazing. What you can do with the cloud, and Microsoft Azure is a huge player in the field. So I'll be making videos about that, and if you want to check out my stuff, I'll have it on CBT Nuggets. So that's going to be fun. Well, anyways, guys, that's about it. I'll be back at you. I know I've kind of been gone in January, but I'll be back at it with the regular uploads here soon. Whew! I'll catch y'all later.
Okay, this is attempt number 2 for the TSHOOT exam. It's about a week, actually it's exactly a week later, and it's a rainy day, but I'm ready. I think I'm ready. I know I'm ready. I've got this. So hopefully when I come back and record the rest of this video, it'll be good news. Here we go. Alright guys, I passed. I freaking passed. I got a 916, okay, yeah, second attempt, and I've already had some familiarity with the exam, but still I passed! Yes! Freaking yeah. I'm glad this is over. Freaking A. But I passed. Now I'm gonna go to Fry's and buy me a toy to celebrate.